to present any recommendations. So the sole person who's going to decide for whatever actions you're going to do is yourself. So it's a matter of choice. Okay, number two, if you cannot reach it in one step, don't. So action will always be faster than reaction within proximity. If you are close and it's within reach, his reaction will be definitely delayed as compared to your actions. But if it's going to give yourself away, because there's so much distance you need to cover to be able to reach the gun, don't. Because all he has to do is pull the gun to his chest and maintain that alignment towards you as you rush forward, and you're still rushing towards the line of fire. So if you can't reach it in one step, don't. Number two, expect resistance and struggle. You yourself, if you're pointing the gun at someone and you see that there's a sign that he's going to go for it, your sensitivity and your awareness goes higher. Okay, so if somebody touches your gun, whether it's holstered or it's drawn, your natural reaction is to express gross motor skills. That means pushing, punching, kicking, elbowing, pulling. Those are gross motor skills, and that's dictated by the reptilian brain. So that's going to come out once there's a detection that somebody's going to pull that knife away from your hand. So you expect that there will be struggle. Don't expect that in an instant that's going to happen. Some situations you would see in some documents, documented videos, that there's definitely a struggle taking place before the gun is either retained or dislodged from the person's hand. Number four, the firearm may discharge. So you expect that at any given time while you're attempting to disarm the gun, the discharge will take place. So that's a loud bang, that's happening next to you, and when you grab the gun, it will still discharge. However, that will affect the cycling of the gun, which might result to what we call a malfunction. So expect again that the firearm may discharge. Then number five, you may endanger yourself and you may endanger others. So we're talking about bystanders. We're talking about you while struggling, pointing the gun towards your leg, pointing the gun towards your wife or your kids. So you have to be very much aware of that past possibility, and somehow that would dictate what course of action you're going to take. It doesn't happen just like it happens in the movies that a quick takeaway takes place. You might endanger yourself if you don't position yourself well enough and you don't direct the muzzle well enough. You might also endanger bystanders or people next to you. Next, keep away from the line of fire. So when you attempt to dislodge a gun from somebody's hand, there are two things that you have to keep in mind. Number one, you step away from the line of fire. So that means you are using your 45-degree steps. Okay, not 180, not 90, but you're closing the distance by using your attacking footwork, which is your 45. So you either use 45 left or 45 right, not a direct approach to the firearm because the gun is pointed at you. That's one. Number two is you perform a method that will direct the gun physically away from your direction. So you step away and direct the gun away to a direction that is away from you. So you have to combine both, although one will do the trick, but doing both is better. So you either step away or you direct the gun away. but better if you do both. Okay, next one, the firearm may malfunction. So we have this cycling of the firearm that takes place wherein the slide will pull itself back and bring itself forward again to load another round. So when there's a hand that interferes with this cycle, there's interference taking place between the normal cycle of the firearm, wherein putting in or chambering of another round will highly be affected, and that might result to what we call a malfunction. But we don't always keep this one in mind. What's important is we dislodge the gun from the hand, whether it malfunctions or not. Take it out of the equation. You just go on with the motion. Next one is once you commit, there's no second chance. So again, it boils down to our decision making, whether or not you're going to attempt a disarm. Because if you failed, that will definitely up the situation, escalate the situation to the point that the gun might be used against you, to neutralize you because you have expressed a threat to the holder of the gun. So once you commit, there's no turning back. And then if you miss, you're lucky if the gun will not be used against you. But likely that will up and escalate the situation. Next, use your body when you disarm the gun. It's not a technique that only employs the hand motion. It's not a technique that only employs the arm motion. It should, especially if the wielder of the gun has a build bigger than yours, you will need and require all the strength that you can muster to dislodge the gun from his hand. Okay, the last one is as soon as you dislodge the gun, gain distance and rack the gun. Because you're not certain whether a round is chambered when it's pointed at you, and when you need to use it, you would figure out that there's no round inside. So automatically, once you effect a disarm, you rack the gun, okay, to make sure that there's a bullet loaded in the gun afterwards. Okay, so those are the things that I'd like to get across before we start, and I hope that you keep that in mind, and you can just go over it. These are basic information, and then this is something that will help you decide whether you're going to go for a disarm or not. Now, we're going to go on with the application, and I have an assistant here who will assist me. Okay, there are two cases that I'd like to present to you. Number one is the gun is pointed towards you, whether to threaten you to give your wallet or your cell phone or any of your belongings, or we have a situation that we call an active shooter, wherein you are hiding from a concealed position, and you are compelled to remove the gun from him. There are some concepts that I would like to present to you that you can figure out, practice. You don't have to use it because the main rule is disengage and escape. But if you're in a situation that compels you to go for it, these are some concepts that you can rehearse and hopefully use when the time comes. Okay, the first situation, the gun is pointed at you, right? So I'm going to show it from this angle first, then I'm going to move to another angle. So the gun is pointed at you. So you're going to direct the gun away, okay? Then bring your hand here, then bring your hand to a hook position. then dislodge the gun from his hand using a gunting principle. So it's like you bring the gun towards this direction, you step 45 to the left, then you hook that hand, okay, using your right hand, then pull it out and twist the gun like that. So again, put your finger out. Okay, we're gonna remove this one so you can see. So it's basically step, okay, push the gun away from you, hook this one, then you are exposing your handle to you, then rack the gun, then direct the gun towards center mass. Okay. So you might be pushing your head like that. So you step out, direct the gun away, then this one, you toss the hand towards that direction. You go for the handle, you rack the gun. One more. Okay. Push, step, then rack the gun. Okay. A variation of this is when you're in this situation. So you're using the same concept. You step away from the line of fire. Second is you push the gun away from you. So you bring it, you put it together, then you raise your hand in between him and the gun. So meaning when you're in this position, you step, insert, then hook, then push, then rack the gun again. So do not telegraph your movement. You can negotiate to him, you can talk to him, but don't show him that you're going to raise your hand like this. Slowly work your way to a position that you can easily bring that hand up to position and effect the disarm. So you can get your wallet if it's demanding for the wallet. You can give your cell phone if it's demanding for the cell phone. And then again, when it's time to move, you step forward, push the gun to the rear, insert your hand here, then rack the gun as you gain distance. Step here, okay. Rack the gun. All right. So those are two variations. Again, the principle that we use is the principle of gunting. Okay. So you go for a direct contact to the hand. Don't raise your hand this way and down. You go direct to the wrist. Okay, so that's technique number one. Technique number two. A while ago, I moved here. Now you move to the right side. Okay, so from the right side, you use again the gunting technique. So meaning you grab the gun from here and the hand from here. You hyperextend that wrist to a bent position. Go for a small circle. Then push the elbow. Now you're holding the gun with the left. You rack it with the right. You can direct the gun towards him and shoot with the weak hand or transition to the right hand. I'll do it again. Okay, so he might be doing this. So direct the gun away from you. You sandwich the hand and the gun using both your hands. Okay, hyperextend that. Use this one as a lever. Then you use that also to direct the gun to him. Release the wrist, push the elbow. Then rack the gun. Use your left hand to grip the gun. So from here, okay, let's remove this one so you can see. Okay, you step to the right, direct the gun away from you. Okay, turn the muzzle towards him, push the elbow, and you rack the gun. What happens if his trigger finger is inside? This is what's going to happen. So from this position, the trigger finger is inside, which will result to a broken trigger finger. And facing. Okay, one. Okay, trigger finger inside. So as you can see, the trigger finger is inside. Then the trigger finger is there. Okay, so you break it. Then you move towards the safe side. Okay, so again, if I may repeat, the first one, you move to the left, you sandwich the gun and the hand. Okay, okay, direct the muzzle away from you. You go for a gunting principle, then you rack the gun. Again. Okay, step, push, rack, then there. A variation of that, if it's pointed at you this way, again, step away from the muzzle, push the muzzle to the rear, sandwich the hand with your two hands, okay, then there. Right, so that's the first technique. The next technique is you move to the right. Okay, we're not going to use this one so you can see. Okay, you move to the right. Okay, you bring your hand here. Okay, you use the hand as a lever. Then direct the muzzle to him. Rack the gun, then point the gun towards him. One more time. Okay, so you move to the right, direct the muzzle to the left. Lever your hand towards the wrist, twist towards him, then push the elbow upward and rightward, bringing the gun here, away from his reach, rack the gun, again, then aim using your weak hand, or if you can go for a quick transfer, you can go back to your dominant hand. Okay, now, if the gun is here, using the second principle, okay, you again, okay, grab the gun, but this time you're not pushing you're levering with your left hand from under. You're levering it from over. Okay, so meaning you're positioning your hand this way, as opposed to this way. So if it's up here, your left hand is here. So you can disarm. If it's down here, your hand is on top. So using the same movement, small circle, then rack the gun. Okay, so that's your variation. Okay, now this is another technique which we proved to be very useful. So if the gun is pointed towards you, all you have to do is again move to the left side with the left 45. Using the same gunting principle, your left hand will push the gun away from you. The right hand will again sandwich the gun. Now, the right hand, instead of using gunting, what you're going to do is you're going to turn the gun 180 degrees and 15 degrees some more until it's flat like this. So from this position, you're going to turn the gun upside down, then a quarter more, using your hands. So you're going to bring yourself to this position. So meaning your rib will act as the bar. your hands will pull the gun to this level position. I'll do it again. So we'll bring it down so they can see. Okay, we'll do it this way so you can see. Okay, again, step outside, push the gun. Now have a good grip of the gun.
How do I?
Okay. Okay, next, you turn the gun upside down, then a quarter more. Then your rib and your body weight will lever the elbow. Okay, now, if you pull the gun, it will not let go. But if you twist the gun, so it's like this. Because if you pull it, he will not let go. But if you twist, he will let go of the gun. So as you twist, you make a step there, then go for a body twist as you dislodge the gun. I'll do it again. Okay. 1, 2, then make a big step, then turn. 3. This is not as complicated as you think it is. It's very easy to remember. So remember again, the first rule is get out of the line of fire. This is 1. Then have a good grip of the wrist. Have a good control of the hand. Okay. Then 2, turn the gun upside down and a quarter more. Upside down, a quarter more. Press your rib. Pull the hand up. Make a big step. Then turn the gun. Rack the gun after. Direct the gun away, 45-degree step. Okay. Turn the gun 180 degrees and 15 degrees more. Lever the gun and the elbow like this. Then turn the gun with your body. Then rack to direct the gun. One more time. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So that's one of the surest and the safest way to do it because you're involving the entire body in dislodging the gun. All right. There are several others which you can practice. It's again, most of the techniques we use the gunting principle because you want the gun to be, grabbed by both hands. So using the gunting principle, you're moving now to the other side. So this is the first one. You direct your elbow to him. So if there's an attempt to can you move closer, the elbow is going to be wedged, and directed to the body. That will prevent him to, grab you. But then again, this can punch, this can pull your hair. I don't care. I can live with the pulled hair. I can live with the punch, but I can live with the discharge firearm. So from this position, okay, grab, okay, then twist. So again, using the gunting. 1, clip your wings to make yourself stronger, generate that strength, then twist, then rack the gun. One more time. 1 and 2, rack the gun. 1, 2, rack the gun. Okay, so those are basic techniques with a shooter that uses one hand to hold the pistol. But what if there's two hands holding the pistol? Okay, this can happen from behind, from the side, but for instructional purposes, we're doing most of the disarms in a frontal position. But you have to, you have to understand that these situations can take place. Okay, how to do it? Again, it will bring you back to this position. So either you go for a quick turn, or you end up negotiating and you're facing him. So the bottom line is you still have to face the gun. You cannot disarm from behind. Nobody can do that. So to resolve the confusion on that one, this will delay, and this is not a guarantee that you will be able to get hold of the gun, because that situation is very, very cautious, and pulling the gun towards him, closer to him, is going to happen once he detects that you're going to go for it. So you need to have a diversion. You need to, distract him. It's not easy, but the bottom line is you still have to face the thing that you would like to dislodge in the first place. So that requires you to go for a turn. Now, going back to the two-handed disarm. Is it right? Okay, so again, you insert your left hand here, the right hand here on the other side. You can insert it, then turn that hand to assume this position. So meaning you turn and bring it to this position. Again, it's a gunting principle, but this time you're going to direct the gun to him and pull the gun towards you as you go for a body twist. One more time. Okay. Step away, insert this way first, then you're going to turn your hand so you can push the gun towards him and pull towards you, then exposing the grip, then you rack again, then assume a non-dominant hand grip. One more time. Okay. One, insert, turn. Then using your entire body to direct the muscle to him, then you step back and pull. Then you rack the gun. One more time. One, two, three, then rack. One, two, three, then rack. Okay, so that's the disarming for a two-handed grip using the same principle of gunting. Okay, if I may go back again from the start to recap. Okay, number one is you step 45. You bring both hands up, one to the gun, one to the wrist, hammer with the hooking position, step back, rack. That's technique number one. Okay, technique number one, step, direct the gun away, hook, okay, push, then rack. Technique number one variation is when you're like here. Again, step away from the muscle, push the muscle to the rear, insert your hand here in a hooking fashion, then push. So that's technique number one with the variation. Okay. Another technique is You step 45 to the right, you push the muzzle away, you wedge your hand here, you twist the gun towards him, okay? Then shoot down, then rack the gun for a left-handed grip. One more time. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3, then rack. One, okay, let's move this one so you can see. 1, 2, 3, then rack. Okay, next technique. You grab the gun, you step, direct the gun there, turn the gun upside down, then a quarter more, use your rib, turn the gun and make a step to remove the gun, then rack. 1, 2, 3, then rack. 1, 2, 3, then rack. Okay. Next technique is from here. Okay, so you turn the gun towards him, raise the elbow and push the elbow and rack. Let's remove the hand so you can see. Okay. So you step out here, you push the muzzle away. Okay, turn the gun, then rack. So the difference between up and down, up is you bring the hand under. Down is you bring the gun up you. So you can effect the disarm. Now, make sure when you practice this, the trigger finger is out, because if it's inside, you're going to break the trigger finger of your partner, because the trigger finger is inside. So when you train for disarms, always train with the trigger finger outside. Then the next one, we'll not use this one so you can see, okay, is again using the gunting principle. Okay, you direct the gun towards here, flip your wings, then use your body to effect the disarm, pull, then dislodge. Okay. Okay. Grab the gun and grab the wrist, clip, then turn. Pull the gun, then rack the gun after you move on. The next one is a two-handed grip. There's a lot of techniques taught by GT, but I'd like to show you the one that we normally use. Okay. This one keeps the gun. Can you pull the gun towards you? Keeps the gun from being pulled. Okay, and it also acts as your lever. Now, that will affect a control on this one. So he will, go for a hyperextended position. Then clip your wings again. You step back and pull the gun. Then you rack the gun after. One more time. Okay. So I'd like to remove this one so you can see. So imagine that there's a hand here, and that the hand is here. So this is what it's going to be. Okay, then pull the gun from that position. So again, two hands. So 1, 2, then rack. Okay, so those are the things that you can work on and rehearse slowly. First, understand the hyperextension, the limitation of the wrist, how far it can go, and how can you make use of that to your benefit. Okay, so those are the disarms that we normally perform given a situation that the guy is poking the gun towards you. Okay, now in case of active shooter scenario that you have to go for it from a hidden or concealed position, rule number one, you don't approach it from the front. Okay? So you let the person go past you before you can go for it. At the very least, is one from the side or from the rear. But if you can just let him go past so you can escape, that's the highly recommended course of action. But if you will have to use this technique as you see fit, this is how it's done. An active shooter can either assume two positions with pistol. One is a pistol on a down position. So he walks, he sees a guy, he shoots. He walks again with a pistol on this position, and he sees another target, he shoots. Another one is he's holding the gun this way, he sees a target, he shoots. He walks again, he sees a target, he shoots. Another is he's looking for targets, he's using it, tactically in the sense that he's using it and using it to lead the attack, pointing at the direction where he looks. So that's the third. So one is here, two is here, three is here. Then four is with a weapon on the two-handed position. Whether it's two-handed or one-handed, the technique will be the same. Approaching from the left. So the active shooter is assuming this position or this position or this position. Either way, you bridge the distance and you go for the wrist. Okay? You go for the wrist, you go for the elbow. If it's in this position, you hold it still. You go for the wrist and you go for the elbow. If it's in this position, the same. If it's in this position, it's the same. If it's two-handed position, it's the same. So meaning, what are the key factors here? Number one is the elbow grab. Then you sandwich the elbow, stand still, bringing your shoulder close to his shoulder to jam the body. Okay? The hand is here. So you're basically bringing the hand, the weapon hand, and your body, making it as one. So I'm gonna work on this one. Okay. Elbow grab, wrist grab, and this one. Can you turn? Here. Okay. What are your expectations? The guy will use gross motor skills to punch you, to pull your hair, to poke your eyes, to pinch your ear, whatever. You don't care. Whether he punches you, he elbows your head, you don't care. Okay? You bear the pain. You bear the pain because if you let go, because that hurts so much, the back of your head is going to shoot you. So from this position, you keep him still, and when he pulls you, the elbow will jam itself there. So he cannot really pull the gun away because that's the reptilian brain dictating that his hand should be free. Now this hand will slide while keeping it still up to here to the slide. Then turn the weapon to the opposite direction. Then you let go of the hand, then you pull. Then you rack the gun again. One more time. So 1, 2, 3. So you notice his left hand is pushing me away, but you're not gonna let go. Push me harder. You're not gonna let go. Can you punch me here? You're not going to let go. You tuck your head like this. So that brings his potential target closer to him, so the energy is less. So you slide this one, then hold it tight, hold it tight. You slide this one, then you turn. Okay. Then you pull, then you rack the gun again, then you point the gun again to person. I'm gonna move this way. So you'll see, you're gonna grab this one here, okay. Then you're gonna pull this way, then you're gonna rack the gun after. So you're using again the principle of gunting and the timbangan. So from a hiding position, you're gonna spring out and bring your body close to his. Okay, there's going to be a struggle. I don't care. This arm is mine. Okay. There's going to be a struggle. There's going to be punches here. There's going to be air pull. I don't care. I'm gonna slide my hand here, then direct it, then pull it, breaking his trigger finger in the process. So that's what you can do if you're approaching from the left side. Now, if you're approaching from the right side, again, you're going to make use of the gunting principle. Okay? So you grab the wrist, ride again your elbow there, bring your shoulder close to his shoulder. Why? Because that's going to keep him from reaching for his gun or pushing you away, because his tendency is to push you away. Don't let him push you. You wedge your body close to him. Okay? Bring yourself low. Then the other hand can either go for a palm to the left position, can use the hand as a lever. This is going to be a quick strip that looks like this. Do it. Okay? That's going to be a quick strip, but that's how it's done. Slowly, one more time. You grab the hand, you prevent it from being pulled. You clip to prevent your elbow from being pushed. So you bring your shoulder close to his, tuck your head. Don't mind the punches, don't mind the hair pull. You just grab this one. Then use your hand as a lever to push. Because when you're hiding from a position, you don't want the gun to be pulled. So you want to grab it, clip it. Okay? Then push the gun away as you would do in the previous disarm, then rack the gun. But you have to, dance, and he'll come back to regain the gun. Okay, another way to do it is, again, starting from this position, and you feel like you're more comfortable, you this, okay, you do that. The left hand supports the right, then goes for that strip. Again, it's like the figure 4 takedown. So from here, instead of this, you ended up doing this. You grab the gun, let go of the wrist, you lock using the figure 4. You bring your elbow up, then that's the strip. One more time. Okay. You ended up doing this instead of this. Okay. Okay. From this position, you lock, you step, you turn, then you gain your grip, rack gun, then distance yourself, then go for a shooting platform. So Whether you're approaching from the right side or from the left side or from the rear, it's basically the same. So because if it's like oriented there, you can go here. If it's oriented here, of course, there's a little more gap because it's right-handed. So logical approach would be towards the right. Okay, again, be careful not to direct the pistol towards you. Okay, then you effect for hyperextension and weapons dislodging afterwards. Okay, do we have any questions before I move to the next? Okay, so if you have questions, you can ask those questions maybe later. All right, next, if you want to retain your gun because somebody's attempting to dislodge the gun from a holstered position, or or from this position or with the weapon drawn, these are the things that we normally teach. One, don't let anyone come close to your firearm within arm's reach. If that will be the case, you turn your body and gun away from him, bringing yourself to a guarded position. So it is a rule that anybody, especially people you do not know or not identified to you, this is the most dangerous range because he'll just grab the gun. Can you grab the gun? So the gun will be within reach. So as much as possible, if you're conversing with a guy and you're armed with a pistol, you don't expose your pistol this way. You turn to the other side, then you talk to him with a pistol not accessible to him. But normally they would approach you from a blind side. So we're talking about awareness and the pistol being part of you. You and your pistol are one. So if you sense, and which you will always do, that somebody is grabbing hold of any part of your body, you will definitely sense that one. Now, if this situation will happen, our normal instinct should be to grab the pistol and keep it in place with both hands. Okay, not with one hand, not with the right hand, not with the left hand, but both. Okay, now from that position, you're going to bring yourself to a more stable, combative position by bringing your weight down, which will somehow affect any imbalance towards the guy. So you grab, then you confirm. Okay, you confirm. Now, you do that in one motion, then once you identify that this guy is not known to you, well, actually we normally kid around. Even if it's known to you, you give him a good whack, because you don't kid around with a gun. So that will be a lesson for him. So again, grab with both hands, bring your body weight down, then depending on distance, that dictates which part of your arsenal will come into play. If it's far enough for the elbow, you can use your slap. If it's close enough for a hack, the hack to the neck will come in. A slap to the ear, a hack to the neck, okay, a push to the face. Grab, bring your weight to a lower position, slap, hack, push. Now, it becomes more energized if you either step with the left foot forward, then go for a body twist. Grab, instead of stepping to the side and bring your weight down, you step diagonally forward with the other leg, then go for a body twist. That's your step one. Step number two is you elbow. Step number three is you elbow the elbow, then push, then you draw that gun. Again, you probably want to get hold of the one that retains your pistol. That's why he's using both hands, or he's grabbing you like that, or he's pushing you like that. Again, the first rule is you keep the gun in place, lower your weight, step forward to energize, slap, hack, or push. Another way is you control, you step back to energize the body twist. So you step back to energize the body twist. Again, when the target is far. If it's close, can you hold my shoulder? Come closer. Okay. Now the elbow comes into play. 1, 2, then drop your elbow towards the wrist. Okay, you can elbow again, or if its control is still there, you can go back to the elbow to break the elbow. Okay, again, control, elbow, or hack, or slap, or push, drop to the wrist, then elbow to the elbow, turn your gun away from him so that that turn will again come into play so you can establish a good shooting platform. One more time. If he's holding on to the retention strap by the aid of his other hand, control with both hands, step forward or step back, then slap, hack, push. Or if it's close, if it's close, you can use your elbow to his face, elbow to the wrist, okay. Elbow to the elbow, then push, then control. Okay, so those are the movements that you have to keep in mind when your firearm is still holstered. Okay? Now, if your firearm is drawn, and you're probably checking, cutting the pie, then suddenly the hand comes in because he wants to disarm. So again, clip your wings, push down your gun, twist and pull. Clip your wings, push the gun down, twist and pull. Hanggat, two hands, isa sa ilalim lang. He doesn't want to do this because you can just easily direct that one, although that's one of the techniques that we teach in the military, direct. Okay? Clip your wings, pull the gun, clip your wings, push the gun down, twist, and pull. So, meaning, if he managed to remove the gun, then he points the gun towards you. Now your disarm will come into play. He pulls the gun with the right hand, he directs it towards you. Now is the time for your disarm to come into play. If he managed to pull your gun, holds the gun and aims it at you, you can now bring the disarms back into play. So it now becomes an exercise between two interacting partners. One will, practice retention. Okay. Elbow, push. Okay. Now, when he draws that one, because he managed to remove your gun, now you can practice your disarming techniques after the removal from your holster or he grabs your gun. So if you fail to retain your gun and he manages control of your gun before he gains distance, you have to grab, attempt to grab your gun if you want to recover the firearm using your disarming techniques. Okay, so basically that's what I would like to initially cover for close quarter disarms and the weapon retention. Do we have any questions before I turn over the floor to Anjay? All right, if there's no question, okay, thank you very much. I'll turn over the floor to Anjay for the next session.
Thank you. Thank you, Takumik.
Thank you, Vitali. Okay, Tuanjay?
Salamat, Tuhon.
Thank you
Salamat.
po. Thank you po, Tuhon.
Thank you,
Thank you po.
Ton.
Advance happy birthday po.
Thank you,
Thank
Ton.
you. Happy birthday. Thank you, Tuan.
Thank you, Ton.
All right, I'll be just here. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Happy birthday, happy birthday. Yes.
Okay, Tuanjay, would you like to take the floor?
Happy birthday, Ninong. Happy birthday.
Feliz cumpleaños.
Happy birthday, happy birthday.
1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Mix. Anyway, let's continue, gentlemen, ladies. Again, happy birthday to PTK Katipunan's founder, Tuhon Miki. Have long life and an enjoyable health with family and friends and with much respect. Buhay po kayo. Anyway, I'd like to continue where Tuhon Miki left off. I'd like to share to everybody where it's coming from in relation to firearms and as far as its relation to Pekititirsa. I'd like to review where it's all coming from in terms of the knife technology for the Gaso Tirsa. From this standpoint, shoulder to shoulder, shoulder to waist, and you have your diagonals. Your diagonals are placed from bladed standpoint here and here. Let me just transfer from the other camera.
Hindi, yung ano, yung pinano ko pa lang. Pag pinano ko pa lang, lagyan ko ng turbo. Ayun, sinatay na pala yung ano mo. Kasi hindi ka mag-isipin eh. Hindi ka na patutulogin ka na eh. Hindi na parang comatose ka.
Where is Coming from that standpoint, coming from that hand, shoulder to shoulder, shoulder to waist, and you have your diagonals. This same thing, if you go on from the platform, it is shoulder to waist, and your diagonals. Okay? Let me share coming in from weapon retention, bolster on. Diba? Bolster in on.
John Jay, walang video. No video. Okay na, Tuon.
We'll have two cameras
There you go.
coming in this standpoint. With bolster on. From a holster standpoint, I'm walking without any threat here. As it comes in, as that comes in, as I see, do a number one. I sidestep, clear this, check, and push. And let me do it again. As it comes in, this is, remember this coming in from our bisect line in terms of the knife. I check, I push, and I clear space, then I draw. But I need to step and create a space for me to draw and establish a shooting platform in that end. Need not extend it just here. Okay? That is one. Another perspective is that it's coming in, then I'm out, then I draw. That is the ideal one, that you're already flanked from that position. So again, number one is I just need to put in a control and check. But of course, because this is already a threat, this will come in. So again, coming in from that standpoint without drawing, one. Of course, this would just push them down, but if this is strong, they would do a number two from that end. So again, one and a two. Remember, you need to brace this up and push. If a push comes in, then I could draw and flank out. If this scenario is fast enough and drawing is not an option yet, as the number one comes in, and knock them out, try to take off the ear and senses. Of course, this is still energized. A number two would come in, and I will slide this out for the weapon, hyperextend the elbow until it disengages. If not, it's still resistant, then I could do this coming in from our end. Coming in from this end, if it doesn't strip out, push it in. If it does, then you could do your necessary come-alongs without drawing. If it escalates, breaks away. And takes hold. Then remember the sequence of tuhon miki. Clip, it's either a step forward or a step back. And today, because it is still energized, you fight back. Boom. This is the best remedy. Coming in from this end. 1, 2. Strip, flank out, and draw. Coming in from that standpoint. But all of these things comes in from perspective, from the knife perspective. Sagang labo is very clear, coming in from the top. It is a 45 degree. It is not a 90 degree as side. It's not a side step because the perp is rushing in already. So if I do a 45 on this end, I might be compromised. So the object for me is rush. Boom, on the 90, hit, biomechanical hit. Hopefully push, if not, get clearance, and draw. The back, stop, and do your verbal commands. If it still rushes in, then the threat on your life is imminent. So again, that's a perspective that I want to play on. Now I'd like to share with you. I'm already holstered up. I'll be clearing, or at least going in on some blind spots. This is a blind spot. This is a blind spot. Assume that this is a blind spot. From the other camera, I am cutting the pipe. I'm not overly drawn. I'm halfway, elbows bent, but I'm checking and cutting the pipe, so to speak. As a perp comes in, and I'm surprised, but boom, I establish this coming in from this perspective. I take control, I step back, take control, and establish an anchor on my chest from my high line for a red shot. Okay, again. I am here. I'm cutting the pipe and boom. From a low line perspective, I am cutting it out, coming it in, bringing it on my chest for an anchor and a ready platform for shooting. Then I could extend it. You only extend this if you have clearance already. If not, keep the elbows in, but strong. For the reason that if this comes in, I could easily bring that over again. If she tries. Okay? That's one. That's coming in from a low line. Now, we'll try it again. I cut the pipe. Attack would come in on a high line. Same thing. If I have clearance, it's here. If not, another option would be I would do a bisect. Boom. Coming in from that perspective, I do a bisect, but instead of bringing it on my chest for an anchor, I'm bringing it here near my rib for a good clearance. at the same time, putting in a line of sight. And of course, because this is dynamic, you could do your sagang labos. I and back out. So this coming in from the sagang labo perspective. Okay? Again, from a low line perspective, as you try to clear and cut the pie, and you see, boom, establish an anchor, clear, and then that's it. You need to bring it out and then establish, and then do your verbal commands. Do your verbal commands. Okay? That's on a low line. On a high line perspective, if I cut the pie and I come in early, boom, same thing. But I put in my anchor near my rib, targeting the lower portion. Still center mass. But if I come in and cut the pie and I'm right in the middle, I do my sagang. I bisect my line, I establish this again. Of course, it's still weaponized. Still, best option for me is to go elbow side and extend. And continuing your verbal commands. So again, that's coming in from a clearing perspective, assuming that I am first cutting the pie, so to speak. If this happens and I'm early, I could do this. If not, I could accept. But at the same time, anchor your firearm on a good platform. Again, this happens from that standpoint. Another, so it's not absolute, but what is important is your training in terms of your knife using sagang labo perspectives. Inside, outside would come into play. Okay. Case in point. A thrust low line thrust number 1. Because it's rushing in, I do not need to go 45. I just need to go on a 90 and hit change. And then, of course, this is still very much active. So the assumption for a number 2, and I will be bisecting that one. Boom. Now, I come in empty-handed from this part perspective. 1, 2. I try to get this. The tendency will cut, elbow, head, elbow, hyperextend, pick it up, coming in from this part. Then you get to this. This is resistant. Then you could bring it down. Using our techniques coming in from a knife standpoint. So again, from the knife standpoint, still coming in, holster in, boom, I get out, I push 1. Second, 1 and third, 2, I push to the chest. And then get clearance and then drop. Okay. 3, push, push, hip to shoulder, push them out, and then flank out, and then establish positive grip, and then drop. with your verbal commands. With your verbal commands, which is very important. Again, retention is key for this. At the same time, if you just train with your knife, even without the firearm on the side, same thing, same dynamics should happen coming in from that perspective. Thing is, instead of me just bisecting, it would be me cutting. Cutting, bisecting, hitting, cutting, thrusting, and cutting from that side. So still, the dynamics of our knife training in terms of Nagasaki, using the principles of Sagang Labo, from a low line to a high line, to your ginutings coming in from a 1, thrust on a 2, cut, instead of coming in from a 1, thrust or your on your usual sabayan, you would just angle it from a 2 perspective. Boom, boom, cut. You're already thrusting from that perspective. I'm cutting, doing the gimping, and then preparing the bony part of my forearm to roll and take control. It's a cut. From an empty hand, it's control. So all of these things come in from the knife perspective, which we think and we believe very relevant right now in terms of the law enforcement, who would first not grow, but still maintain a sense of control dynamics towards the public. Remember, upon draws, one should establish always a good shooting platform. A good shooting platform would not just provide accuracy in terms of in relation to your target, but more so providing a good safety mechanism because you're already in the outdoor. You're no longer in the range where there is a backstop and the bad guys shoot back. So establish a good shooting platform. Though oftentimes you would see during VIP securities that like, a principal would be protected and rush to the nearest safety, and one would be shooting in from the side. But for us, provided that if you have an opportunity to establish a good shooting platform, higher percentage of accuracy would be met. At the same time, the safety of others outside of your target would be addressed. So again, it is a responsibility. It is still a responsibility and a matter of training in terms of how one would use. I'm not saying that this should always be the case, but of course, this could just provide cover. But the safety mechanism for other targets, not not to be or other victims for that matter, might be coming in from your own firearm. So again, coming in from that perspective, we use the knife training or the gasofilia sa Labo for that matter, specifically for a high and low thrust, using your bisecting lines on a low and a high perspective, at the same time establishing a good shooting platform, at the same time if one is anchored near your chest towards the target, or from a high line perspective, the anchor will be just right under the rib, still target muscle going on the center mass of the perpetrator. So again, that is coming in from that side of that spectrum of our knife technique in relation for law enforcement in using the firearm. So again, I hope any other questions that you'd like to ask, so we can have a clear day in greeting the community.
Thank you to Onjay. Thank you everyone for coming, and would like to open the floor for any potential questions that you'd like to raise, and we'll try to answer as much as we can. Please unmute your mics if you have any questions in mind.
Type it in, type it in, type it in, or
Any questions?
Tunix, Jojo.
Yes, Joe.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
Tunix,
Guru.
with regards to, good morning, happy birthday, TM.
Thank you, thank
So,
you.
gunman's approach from behind with his left hand holding on to your left shoulder and with the firearm pointing at the small of your back. How do you address that? Do you more or less, can you imagine what I'm driving at?
Yes, yes. Yes,
Okay, so it's this is a real life scenario because my son was held up with that kind of approach. Although it was a knife, the criminal was holding on to his left shoulder with the knife pointing behind his back. And there were, of course, let's not focus on the multiple attackers first. Let's focus on just one attacker. And in this case, the question I would like to ask is, if it were a gun, if it were a firearm, the approach would be left hand to your left shoulder, weapon hand to the small of your back. We all know that these people will be hiding the firearm from public because they would want to make it as low-key as possible. Because earlier you mentioned something about the gun being pointed to your back, but it's about higher. So my question is this position. If you can see my here to it. So you're in front, I'm here, and I'm pointing my weapon at the small of your back. Do you have a suggestion for that, Tuhan?
thank you, Guru Jo, for the question. That's a very interesting question. First and foremost, you have to exert the effort to identify the location of the gun, either by sensing, but more accurately by looking or glancing. You'd like to make sure that, knowing where it is situated, where it is placed, that will definitely spell the difference between success and failure. Because if it's like tucked, of course, it reduces your chances of gaining hold of that the gun in the first place. So going back to my original premise, when we were doing the disarm exercise, you were facing the partner, your training partner. So suffice it to say that he is an aggressor and he's from behind. Again, you won't be able to make any effective disarms if the person is from behind and you're gonna reach from that position. Even in a side position, you still have to exert the effort to face the threat and the item or the object that you would like to dislodge from his grip. You have to have full access and full view and full reach of that object. Otherwise, it will be ineffective, and you won't be able to do that And then, we do these exercises numerous times, either approaching from the right side or from the left side, because there's always two ways to disarm, either from the left side or from the right side. So it really pays off if you do exercises using both sides. And again, it is a judgment call. I would refuse to give any recommendation whatsoever as far as the decision is concerned, whether you do it or not. You are the one who's going to make a decision on that one. As I have mentioned before, I made the presentation. The first thing that I told you about is that it is a matter of choice whether you go for a disarm or not. If you're being held up and the guy is just asking for money and a cellular phone, it might be wise to give it anyway. I mean, you ask yourself, is it worth the risk? Is it worth your life? Or if you're being held at knife point, is it worth 2 months, 3 months in the hospital? So the decision is yours. But then again, technique-wise, again, you have to make a turn to have full access and a full view of the item that you would like to dislodge. And then you have to factor in the possibility that he might be assuming that you're going to do that. So bringing the firearm close to him is definitely a part of the equation, and that will definitely reduce the possibility of you dislodging the gun. Okay? So I hope that answers your question, Guru Joe.
Yes, yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think we have a question from Vitali.
I think coming in from Agalon Angel Aguilan. He raised his hand.
Okay. All right. One moment, Kuya Angel. Let's answer Vitali's question first. Use one
Yes.
hand and other in the knife. I think this is addressed to Tonjay. Tonjay, would you like to answer the question?
Can you read that again?
Okay, Vitali is asking, you're using one pistol in one hand and the other the knife.
No, I'm just using one pistol and my third hand free. I'm not using a gun and a knife together. It doesn't make sense in that sense, in the scenario that given a firearm and still using a knife doesn't make sense for the reason that the principles would be the same, but you won't have control or better control of your long weapon, which is your firearm. It just breaks the logic that instead, the more logical combination, in my perspective, is that firearm and a flashlight. But the firearm and a knife, I am more inclined not to go that way, for the reason that I'd have a better chance of surviving if my free hand, my third hand is free. One, for a two-handed grip. Two, for retention. And at the most is that having something to illuminate, which is your flashlight. Outside of that, I would not go to the path of a firearm and a knife together. That's my personal take on that one. We could share it to Holmiki, but for me, I would rather go safe, I would rather go efficient, and I would rather go very dynamic on that perspective.
Thank you, Tuhonjay. I totally concur with Tuhonjay, because you need the free hand to open the door. You need the free hand to push. You need the free hand to to effect a weapon retention, so much as it is cute and looks beautiful with the knife on this hand, it is not tactically recommended. Because the gun is your primary weapon. If you run out of bullets or you need to fight somebody who's grabbing your gun, you can access your knife, but you don't use the knife uh, um, in that particular situation, because that will only limit your chances of using the empty hand to perform other tactical purposes. Now, it is born out of the tactic of using the flashlight when you're clearing or checking the area. But you see, the evolution of tactics eventually landed in condition wherein the flashlight are already mounted on the firearms, on the pistols, whether long or short firearms. So the left hand is already free to perform specific tactical functions. Okay, so as much as possible, if you're going to ask me or Tuonjay, I will concur with Tuonjay. Don't involve the other hand using knife, because it's pointless. It's pointless, and it's going to limit your tactical options as far as the use of your free hand is concerned. I hope that answers the question, Vitali. I'm trying to understand the context of your question, but I hope.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yes, thank you. I understand.
okay, and if I may add, if it limits your stability using a knife with one hand or a flashlight with the other hand, nothing replaces two hands holding the firearm for a more stable platform. Okay, much as we would always say that this can improve your platform and use the flashlight in tactical situations. Again, the evolution of tactics ended up with the flashlight being mounted on the pistol already. So because the idea of having a free hand in the process is in order. And if it is not recommended that you use it with a pistol, much more that it is not recommended that you use it with a rifle in one hand and a knife on the other hand, because everybody knows the recoil of a firearm. A pistol has sufficient amount of recoil, much more a 5.56 or a 7.62 caliber rifle. I don't think that would be a logical thing to do. It looks beautiful in most posters, but tactically speaking, it is not sound.
So Nick, may I add something?
Yes, one.
Okay. Let me put you on screen. I just want to add in relation to the question of Guru Jojo earlier that us doing engagement in terms of gun disarms, the opportunity to do disarms for that matter, would always come into one, a visibility and a visibility of the weapon at hand. So you know and assume, you not just assume, but you know where you get a feel or you get a good visual on the weapon at hand. And at the same time, that the critical one step that needs to happen. If you could do that in a step, in not in, or half a step, or half a beat in terms of doing your technique. Because the moment you decide to do that, you do not go back. You do not go back on the river. You do not cross the river twice, so to speak. The moment you decide that you would do that, one should be totally committed in doing that. And all things aside, get hit, get punched, take on the pain, but hang on to the firearm and not let it go. Anyway, just my 2 cents on that. So I have to add that.
Thank you, Tuonche. We have another question from Ike Depita. How about situations like you're being pinned to a wall with a gun or a knife pointed at you. Well, if you're being pinned to the wall, one good thing that is present in that condition is that you're facing the threat. Okay. Now, considering that the threat is within reach, that answers your question of having to reach it in time to perform the disarming. So that is another good thing that is present in the condition. But the thing is, if you wouldn't be able to move effectively to redirect the gun to a safe direction, or grab the hand, because the hand is like you're being pinned to the wall, or you're being choked, and the gun is here. You have to, understand that there's a limitation in terms of effective action, considering that you're being pinned on the wall, and the gun is still being retained from a distance. That when you do something, the trigger finger will just pull the trigger. We call it the ambush position. We encounter a lot of questions like that whenever we teach the military, wherein the pistol is like this, and the lesson is all about disarming. So they already have it figured out that you're teaching them how to remove the gun, and they are already in a position that they know that you're teaching, and they are already prepared in the condition that they will be able to refute what you're teaching and what you're gonna do. So again, bottom line is, when you are going to attempt for a disarm, don't give him the impression that you're going to go for a disarm. That relaxes the assailant or the person, and is in the position that his reaction would be, not at par with your action. And another question that we encounter is, he would ask you to dislodge the gun, and he would brace up for it. Time and again, we experience that challenge whenever we teach, especially police forces and military forces, and those who are just, they just wanted to challenge your technique. Okay, we respond to that with a simple reply. When you go to the range to shoot the gun, you are not holding the gun so tight that you're expecting someone to remove the gun. When you go to the range, your condition is relaxed, but the grip is good. But you're not holding it too tight as you would normally challenge someone who's teaching disarming. And obviously, he will not be able to disarm the gun. So, meaning in a condition wherein you're being pointed with a gun, he is not holding it so tight. So when you perform the disarm, you can definitely easily perform a disarm, because he's relaxed, he's got the upper hand, and he's in a very advantageous position. So he thought. So going back to the usual question, would you be able to disarm someone who's holding the gun tight like this and is challenging you because you're teaching disarming? No, you won't, because he's already braced up for it. And that's normally the pitfall of an instructor, who will end up being not able to show effective disarm, because the person is already in an ambush position, and the situation is already set up that the one challenging the technique is already braced up for your possible reaction. So just sharing our normal encounters in the field whenever we teach. So thank you to Mark for the remark. Don't forget that the handgun is already an impact weapon, so no need to hold the gun with a free hand. All right, any other questions?
Agalon Angel is raising his hand.
Yes, Tuhon, good morning po. Tuhon Mick, good morning po. Tuhon Mick, is it okay that when being faced with a threat, just like what Kuya Jojo have said, is it okay that we try to first to negotiate or to make ourselves look like asking for something to the one who threatened us, so that we can de-escalate the situation, because the adrenaline of the attacker is very high, that any move that we may make, it will endanger our life or the other. So it's okay that we try to negotiate first, so that we can think on what to do or what will be our next action, so that if we do our first action, the second, the third will follow, so that we will not stop and pause because we forgot something.
Sige, pwede nga.
Another one, Tuhon, is how about, Tuhon, if someone is trying to commit suicide by holding a knife against his stomach? Is there anything that you can share to us? Because I personally experienced a situation like that, and it takes me hours to get hold of the knife of that said woman, because I'm only the one who knows how to get, and my partners do not know how to to get the knife from that woman who tried to commit suicide to him.
Thank you, Agalon Angel. For everybody's information, Agalon Angel is a police officer of the National Police. And going to your first question, yes, the first thing that should come into your mind is to how to de-escalate the situation and get out of that situation unharmed. So if that means giving away your phone and your wallet, and distracting him, and you know, giving into his commands. So when once he gets what he wanted, he would go away. Yes, again, it is a decision that you have to make. If you can do it with without endangering yourself, that would be the best option. Your last option should be to disarm, or to perform a weapon disarm. Okay? You persuade him, you give into his commands, you give into his demands, walk away from the situation unharmed. Take a good memory, you know, if you can give a full description of the person after the incident, that is much recommended. Always go to the police after, so you can report the situation. Hopefully, you can recover what you lost. And the second question, what would you do if somebody is attempting to commit suicide with a knife? You know, showing everyone that he's about to commit suicide and is demanding for attention. You know, if he's going to commit suicide, he could have possibly done that way before you arrived. If the probably the person is asking or wanting for attention. But if that would be the case, your goal is to get hold of that knife hand. So if you approach from the front, definitely that's going to raise his awareness that you are about to do that. So better do it from a blind spot. Okay. There are several ways to do it, but the bottom line is you have to arrest the hand. If you're going to arrest the hand by grabbing the hand with your wrist and holding onto the elbow the way that we did it with the pistol, you may do that as soon as possible. You have to bring the person to the ground, because the lesser mobile the person on his feet, the better your chances of subduing him. And it's best that you're holding onto the weapon hand and somebody's helping you out, subduing the person by the legs, and of course the other hand should also be subdued. There are several occasions wherein a person who is not as big as he is was grabbed with with a bear hug, arresting both hands and bringing the person down along with him to the ground for the others to help out in subduing the person. So those are the two logical ways to do it. One, approach from blind spot. Two, make sure you grab the weapon hand. By grabbing the weapon hand, with both hands and the others help out in subduing, or going for a bear hug, going for a two-handed a bear hug, and then bringing the person along with you to the ground so the others can help out. So thanks. I hope that answers your question, Agalon.
Yes, Tohon. Thank you po. Thank you very much, Tohon.
Thanks very much, Agalon. Do we have any other questions, Tohon Jay?
I hope everybody enjoyed part 2 of season 2 of Piercing Point. Again, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody for the support, and I hope you learned a thing or two between Miki and myself, and to all who have supported Piercing Point. Maraming salamat po. Happy birthday to Miki.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for the greetings.
Last question daw, ilang taon na? Last question, ilang taon na daw?
Oh, thank you for the question. 1 year older. 1 year older.
Happy birthday, Ton.
Thanks everyone. Thanks everyone. You're invited tonight.
Birthday po, Ton Mick.
Thank you. All right, we'll see you next week, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Tuhon. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you,
po.
Ton. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday again, Tuhon Mick.
Birthday.
Salamat.
Happy
Happy birthday po.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. See you next week with Grand Tuhon.
Guru Jojo, thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Ton
Tuhon Jay.
Jay.
Thank you.
Thank you po, Ton Jay.
Mga kapatid, salamat. Tuhon
Hermanos
Bob.
and hermanas in
Bob, thank you.
Latin America.
Thank you, Tuhon Bob.
Brothers and sisters
Our
in
brothers.
Canada.
Maybe everyone.
Yes.
Thank you doon sa partners. Magagaling yung mga partners nung dalawang tuhon. Thank you.
Our brothers from Peru, Cesar, and thank you very much.
I want to talk knowledge also for
All classics for you.
partners, to Tuhon Miki's partner, and to my forever partner. Thank you for the support.
Thank you. Thank you, hermano Javier. Muchas gracias.
Okay,
For those who ask questions, thank you so much.
Sergey.
Let's try a couple.
Thank you,
Vitaly.
Sergey.
Muchas gracias por todo. Feliz cumpleaños, Tuhon.
Muchas gracias, hermano Cesar, Cesar and Agalon Fernando. Muchas gracias. Don General, thank you. Matasaguro Homer, sending our best regards. Thank you, Agalon June Natividad. Brother Jonas, thank you.
Thank you, Ton. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Vlad. Here. Hey, Tuhon Sadiq. Get well soon.
Yes, sir.
Tuhon.
Get well soon, Tuhon Sadiq.
Good night.
Muchas gracias. Vitaly, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Tuhon.
Mabuhay ang Katipunan.
Buhay.
Buhay.
Katipunan.
Mabuhay ang Katipunan.
May after party pa ha. Oh.
Aki.
Go party, everybody.
Hey, guy.
Hey, guy.
Po.
Dom.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ton.
Thank you. Salamat sa inyo. Salamat.
Happy
Hey,
birthday, Tom. All classics
matanggap
for
kami
you.
ng ano ngayon, ng
Gracias,
meatloaf.
Cesar.
Feliz cumpleaños. We're the party now.
Yeah. Time to party.
Go party, everybody.
Fiesta.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep the sword sharp and our grips tight. Maraming salamat from Katipunan and to Piercing Point. See you.
Thank you.
Next week. Salamat po.
Come on, thank you.
Thank you, Tuhon.
Salamat po. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Next week.
Jay, Mickey.
Salamat po. Ipakita po.
Yes. Thank you.
Javier, thank you. Agalon Fair.
Oh, thanks.
Javier,
Thank you, Tifón.
buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Gracias por todo.
I hope you enjoyed the sessions. And we'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.
See you. See you next week.
Tuhon Jay, inaantay ka na to. Oh.
Oo nga. Thank you. Thank you.
Oo. Yan. Basta pag nagawi, pag nakapunta, dadaan ko.
Oo. Basta relax ka lang. No rush.
Yes,
brother.
Tuhon. No worries, no worries. Have a good day,
Yeah.
Tuhon.
Sergey.
And to all the brothers.
Thank you so much. And to
See
Brother
you soon,
Alan.
see you soon.
And to Kampiyon General. Maraming salamat. Thank you for the support.
Maraming salamat po, Tuhon Jay. Magandang hapon. Have a nice Sunday.
Ingat po sa lahat and have a good weekend, everybody.
Thank you, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Alan. See you.